Hey everybody, hold on just a second. Let me see if I can get this. All right, let's get going here. Hey, this is Jerome with Common Sense Consulting. How's everybody doing today? Uh, Grandson's birthday, so first and foremost, I want to say happy birthday to my grandson. Hopefully he has a great day, and just wanted to say that right off the rip. Um, What I wanted to talk about today was just how marketing has changed since I've been in this space. Um, and at the end, I got a special offer I'm gonna throw out there to you guys. Um, but for me, I just want to talk about me for a second, real quick. This is something I like. I like T-shirts. With funny sayings on the front. So this one here, I really like this one. When God made me, He grinned and said, "This will be fun." And yes, it is. It is real fun. It's fun being me, and I hope it's fun being you. Um, some of the things that in addition to t-shirts with crazy sayings on them, I actually like remote control cars, drones, things like that. You can see in the background, I got a helicopter there, you know, remote control car right there. Now, on the shelf up top, you guys can't see it, but I got other cars, tanks, helicopters. You know, that's just some of the things that I enjoy. So hopefully you've got some hobbies that you like to do, and some things that you can enjoy when you're not out working. So um, that's just me things that I like to do. But today I want to talk about, just marketing. That's what I do. That's what Common Sense Consulting is all about. It's about online marketing. It's about just helping entrepreneurs, small business people, learn how to market. It took me a long time to figure things out. I've been doing marketing since way before the internet started. When I started back in the day, it was newspapers, penny savers, magazines, you'd run ads, you'd have to use snail mail, you put an offer in there, you tell them to, mail something back to you to get the information. Did that for a long time, you know, and was somewhat successful with it, but it was a snail mail. Things move really slow compared to where things are today. Um, and like I said, I was, somewhat successful in doing it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was just a simple, easy way of making money. Didn't cost a whole lot. Was some investment up front. You had to run the ads. You had to buy envelopes and stamps. Create flyers, things like that. You know, and even with today, things are not a whole lot different. You know, in a way that was affiliate marketing back way back then before the internet. Now you have the internet and affiliate affiliate marketing is just a whole lot different. You do things on the internet, you get on social media, you create videos, you run ads, things like that. You get people to go to a website that you built, put in their information, and things move really fast. You can do things almost instant. So it's a whole lot different now than it was back then. Like I say, you social media, you do videos, even like I am right now on YouTube. These are the avenues that people are using, and it's made things a whole lot faster in terms of being able to reach out to customers, potential clients, things like that. Compared to where it was, back before when you were dealing with specifically snail mail. And that's why they call it snail mail because it moves very slow. Even to this day, if you use the regular mail, you mail something off, it takes days for it to get there. If it's something people need to reply to, it may take days for them to reply and get back with you unless are using some kind of, website or something like that. Um, so I had to learn how to adapt, once the internet came along. Was it easy? Of course not. But, a little trial and effort, and, I figured it out. I started off doing, building websites because I've always had a history of doing that. I went to school way back in the 80s. Yes, I'm old. I'm 59 years old. So back in the 80s, I learned how to do computers, learned how to do programming and things like that, and I still do it to this day. Build websites and other automations and things of that nature. So I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. I've been around for a long time doing this. Um, so in today's climate, how do you adapt to reaching out to people? How do you adapt to getting new customers, getting eyeballs on your products and services? Um, First thing, you got to start somewhere. And a lot of people don't start. They have good ideas, but they don't put the effort in. They just won't start moving. And there's this phrase called analysis paralysis. And what that is, it's where people will sit there and you'll analyze something and you never get past the analyzing stage. You want everything to be perfect before you put it out there. You're worried about what somebody's going to say about you, or if it doesn't succeed, the ridicule, or maybe you failed at something. But if you don't try, you won't fail. So failure is not a good thing. Failure is just saying, okay, that didn't work, let's try something else. Or maybe you need to revise this, a step here, a step there, to get where you want to be. But biggest thing is start somewhere. If you start somewhere, then you got a shot at succeeding. Um, in this day and age, video is a real big thing. I don't know when we got away from wanting to read, um, do research on our own. Now everything is, you know, you want to watch a video because it's easier to just consume the video instead of reading the information. It's also you've got AI, Chat GPT, uh, DeepSeek. There's so many things with AI. You had Google before you had AI. You type in what you want to know about, it spits it back to you. Um, so one of the things now that to be able to succeed, you need to be willing to do video. And if you don't want to get in front of the camera, that's understandable. Hey, it took me a while to get comfortable enough to really want to sit here and get in front of the camera and just talk. Because that's really all I'm doing with you right now. I'm just talking. These are things, thoughts that are in my head. You know, I get them out. So if you're not willing to do or get in front of the, excuse me, get in front of the camera, hire somebody. You can hire me. You can hire someone else. To create videos for you. There's this thing going around of all these people are on YouTube talking about, oh, you can make a whole lot of money by creating faceless YouTube channels. Yeah, you can. It's possible. You know, you can do the work yourself, or you can hire somebody. If you learn how to do it, it's a skill you'll always have. So give it a shot. You don't even have to put your face on camera. You can use your voice, you can use an AI voice, as long as it sounds realistic. Some of these some of the videos I watch on YouTube are not realistic at all. You can hear the voice and they're mispronouncing names, they're mispronouncing common words, or they might mispronounce it in the beginning, but in another sentence they're saying it right. But you just have to get out there and give it a shot. There's a whole lot of software out there that you can use that'll really make things a whole lot easier on you if you're just willing to give it a shot. Um, as far as marketing, some of the things that I do because I have a handful of businesses. Um, I do tax preparation, so At tax time, if you need help, I'm always here to help. Sometimes you need a little tax help all year round. Whether you're a small business, you might need help with taxes, or something happens in, your family situation that, you know, you need help with taxes, or maybe you just didn't file by the deadline and you're scared to file your taxes because you don't know what's going to happen. Well, reach out to a tax professional like myself or someone else. Like I said, don't have to be me, but just reach out to a tax professional and get the information, get the help. Um, I do, like I said, the consulting work. I do web design, website building, AI, different kind of automations, things of that nature, to help with marketing. So anything you need as far as marketing help, even if it's just you have questions, you need advice, you don't know where to turn, you don't know where to start, um, just reach out. We're, always more than happy to give you a hand or answer some questions. Um, I also have a couple of real estate investment companies. When I decide to get into real estate investing, I have those set up that I can do those as well. One of the last companies that I created not that long ago is basically a spinoff from uh, the consulting arm, the Common Sense Consulting arm. It's called Review Miners. And basically, what Review Miners does, it's specifically set up to help businesses with their online reviews. That's all I'm doing with this business. With the regular consulting arm, we do a lot. You know, web design, doing ads, uh, all types of different automations, smart websites, things like that. But with review miners, specifically helping companies with their online reviews. And at the end, I'll give you a special offer and let you know how we can help you uh, build up your online reviews. Um, and with marketing, especially now in this day and age, part of how things have changed is reviews matter. If you look while you're watching TV, some of these commercials that are on, even in the commercials, they're telling you, "Hey, we have a lot of reviews. We have 500 reviews. We have 1,000 positive reviews." When you go to Amazon and you go to buy a product, you look at the reviews to see, is this a good product? Is it quality made? Even in some items on Amazon, they even tell you, "Hey, this item gets frequently returned." So they letting you know, buy it at your own risk. You may not like it. Um, So in the new day and age of marketing, reviews matter. And that's kind of why I spent off review miners out of the regular consulting arm. It's because it's become really important. Google actually ranks, you on Google Maps when somebody's searching for a business, say, your service business, say you do window cleaning. If they're looking for a business that does window cleaning and you have a lot of reviews, Google will push you up in the rankings, which means you'll get more exposure and more phone calls compared to a business that doesn't have any reviews, or has a low number. Most people will see a high number of reviews, especially if it's 4 or 5, star reviews, and they'll think that's, hey, this is the best company. I'm going to go with them. So that's how that works. Um, But I've run into a lot of people that, well, how do we get reviews? You know, it's one simple way to do that. You have to ask. If you want a review from a potential client, someone you've worked with, who has experienced your products or services, you just basically ask them for a review. Now, a lot of people are a little hesitant to do so. You don't want to ask for a review. One, you might be scared of what they'll say. Maybe you don't know if they'll give you a 4 or 5 star review. Um, Maybe you'll get a 1, 2 star review. You're a lot of people are just scared to ask. But if you don't ask, you won't get one. So what I've decided to do was try to help it, um, how to make things easier, how to make it a little bit easier for people to get reviews. Um, Now there's 2 ways that I've learned or have decided to make it easier for people to do. ask for the reviews. Um, One is we have a automation that we basically do everything. We will basically tie into your CRM. Whether depending on which one you have, um, and when you're finished with the service, your system will send us a notification or send our system a notification saying, "Hey, we've done a service for this person." And at that point, we will reach out to them, in a couple of different ways and ask them to leave a review. Once they leave a review, we actually respond to that review. So, they'll get a professional response to their review, which Google loves too. So that's another thing Google likes. They like a number of reviews and they like the fact that you respond to those reviews. So we take care of that for you as well. Now, there's a third thing that we do. We actually repurpose those reviews. So when they come in, we actually take those 5-star reviews and we turn them into social media. So we post them on social media, whether you're using Facebook or Instagram, uh, TikTok, Twitter. We actually take those and along with your Google Maps business profile, we post those reviews up there. So now when people are searching for you, we even put them on your website. When people are searching for you, they actually will see your reviews. And just like I said, the more reviews that you have, the more 5-star reviews you have, the more confidence and trust people will have in you. So by getting those out there and allowing people to see when they're looking for a business that offers a product or service that you do, they'll see those reviews and okay, if these people think that, what you had to offer was good, I'm going to give you a try. So we set that automation up for you 100%. Once we get you onboarded, we basically will take care of everything. The second thing, or the other thing that we can do, is make it easier for you to ask for reviews. And one way that I've set up to do that is these review cards. I don't know if you can see, but basically what this says is your feedback matters. Help us. Ooh, yeah, it's kind of hard to see. I know. But it says, help us grow by sharing your experience. Review us on Google. And basically, what this is an NFC card, and then it has your logo on the back. That's Review Miner's logo right there on the back. That's my company. So if you go out and you do a service, say window washing, once you've completed the service, you want to ask them for a review. So what you can do is most people got their cell phones handy. So what you do is ask them, hey, can you leave a review? And they'll be like, sure. You pull the card out and you basically tap it to their phone, like so. This is what happens. It's going to say complete action using one of your browsers. And then it basically takes them to your page, your Google page, which basically allows them to leave you a review. It's just that simple. It's not complicated at all. You've just asked for a review. Now, if you've done a good service, standing right there, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to get a favorable review because you're right there. Now, if you've not done such a good job, the rapport wasn't that great between you and that customer, then maybe you won't even ask for the review because you may not get a go. But if things went well, they were happy with your service, ask them for the review. And it's simple. All you gotta do is just tap this to your cell phone. And it's just like if a lot of people do when you go to the store and you shop, you do the tap to pay. You take your cell phone, you tap on the little thing at the register, or you tap your credit card, or your debit card. It's that same Same situation, same scenario. Most phones have this feature already built in. Most of the time, it's automatically on, unless they turn it off for some reason. It's usually on. And if it's not, you just, hey, can you, tap it to their phone? It doesn't go. You just say, hey, can you go in your settings and turn on the NFC feature? And once you do that, you tap it, they leave the review. So it's just that simple. So, you know, in marketing nowadays, the way things have changed, from when I started, from running ads in newspapers, penny savers, magazines, using snail mail. Now you've got websites and, you know, do everything online, do it through the cell phone. You can make it fast and simple. And as important as reviews have become at this point, you really just, want to make it as easy and as effortless as possible. So, what I'm offering is there's a special offer that I'm offering right now. And it is um, for three of these review cards, you know, I'll, they're made up, they'll look like this. I will put your custom logo, your business logo on the back. So you know it's for your company. You'll get three of those. And we will, once you get the reviews, we will respond and repurpose them to your social media account for $97 a month. So all you have to do is reach out to me. Um, I also have a link for this. Let me see if I can find that real quick and I'll post it in here. But this is what I found to be a simple way of getting people to ask for reviews. So let me come back here. Let me see. Let me go. Let me put this up on the screen here. Okay. So, okay. So let me see. Okay. There we go. So you should see it right there scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It's reviewminers.com/review miners NFC 3 pack. If you go there, you can sign up for this special. This is only going to go up until probably July 4th. After that, it's going to go back to the regular price, um, which is going to be the all inclusive service, the full automation of $297 a month. So if you want to save $200, go ahead and sign up with me right now, and you can get these three cards. We'll actually do the response and the repurposing for you, so that we can help you to build up your review numbers. Get fresh reviews, new reviews will get you up to the top uh, as far as the Google search. Uh, Once you respond to them, it'll push you up even more because now Google sees not only are there new reviews, but they're active. You're responding to the reviews. And then by repurposing them on your website and your social media and your Google Maps profile, whenever somebody's searching for you, they're going to see them. So now you're building that trust for people that aren't even clients that may be considering you. So if we can help you, maybe you only have 15 reviews right now. But if you use our system and we can help you get up to 115, and maybe your competition only has 50. So if they got 50 and you have 115, people are going to look more at you than they're going to look anywhere else. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got for you today. This is just what was on my mind. Just wanted to talk about how marketing has changed. Plus, I like my shirt, and I just wanted to show it off. Oh, excuse me for being a little bit vain, a little bit silly. This something I like. I like crazy t-shirts. So Um, come across some crazy T-shirts, you know, hey, send me one. I put it on, I'll wear it, and I give you a shout out. Um, it's another thing that I used to do. I've done a lot, in addition to the affiliate marketing. I've done on eBay, the drop shipping. I've done T-shirts. That's kind of how it's something I like to do. I like crazy T-shirts, so I sold them for a while. Even now and then, if I come across a bunch of designs, I might throw up a store somewhere and see if other people like them too. But the point of this is, don't be afraid of marketing. It's just basically telling people what you like, or telling people what you're good at, or telling people what you can do. Don't be afraid to let people know how great you are, because I'm great, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of other great people out there as well. So, on that note, I'm gonna say goodbye, y'all. Got things to do. It's a busy day. You know, Grandson's birthday, so finna go out, get him a gift. I should have already got it, but I'm finna go find something nice for a 7-year old, and you know, enjoy the rest of my day. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of yours. So on that note, I'm out, y'all.